susunod na programa ay rated PG. Ito ay nangangailangan ng patnubay at gabay ng magulang para sa mga batang manonood.
10 ghost stories every Pinoy student has heard by SPOT.PH. There are quite a few things to miss about school, summer, vacation, your friends, and of course, all those ghosts. Whether these spooky stories were actually true or not, those strange encounters taught us to never ever go to the bathrooms by ourselves, and always steer clear of any nuns we didn't recognize. Admit it, you still get the chills when you talk about them at every class reunion. Here are the 10 of the most common ghost stories we talk about at school. Share yours in the comment section. Your school used to be a cemetery. Your friends probably told you that because there are so many casualties during war, who cares which one? The ground you stood on had many dead bodies lying underneath. It was especially believed if your school stood right beside a convent, where all those ghostly nuns or singing priests probably came from. You were always scared to step on anything that could be only a few feet away from a coffin or a corpse, and made it to habit make the sign of the cross when you happen to be anywhere near some large trees for fear of disturbing the spirits. There's a faceless nun who needs your help. We're not sure why there aren't as many stories of wandering priests, but for whatever reasons, creepy nuns were a staple of many campus urban legends. She was known to haunt bathrooms or float quietly along the hallways. Her ghost appeared when you were all alone in the bathroom, and for that split second when you look away from the mirror, she wrote on the mirror, "Pray for me, I'm in hell." The girls' bathroom is haunted. Remembering Moaning Myrtle? We had our own versions even before Harry Potter came along. There are many tales of ghostly sightings in bathrooms, which perhaps stems from the fear of being caught at the most awkward moments. It wasn't unlikely that while you're busy doing your business, a certain someone would knock on the door. You'd see her shoes from inside the cubicle, as if patiently waiting for her turn. But when you look up, it's actually a freakishly tall lady staring back at you. Some bathrooms had been known to be haunted that they're locked up for good, while some have had the mirrors taken down or faucets blocked up to put an end to these petrifying encounters. There are some other than your teachers in the faculty room. Yeah, students weren't the only ones pranking their teachers. Spirits were felt lurking in the faculty room, pulling teachers' chairs or opening and closing doors unexpectedly. It was also likely that you heard these stories from 1 to 2 teachers who had third eye, that one teacher who just stopped in the middle of a lecture because she just had to check if that boy in the back was a student or a ghost. Don't stay too long around the guardhouse or waiting shed, because there was probably a security guard who met a tragic end or got brutally murdered on school grounds. Other variations of the tale replaced the security guard with a janitor who died alone during night shift. Perhaps they just wouldn't go away because they were still busy attending to our needs. Spirits live in nature and in your school grotto or park grounds. We all had that one creepy tree, or more than one, that we stay away from. Maybe because an ate of a friend of your cousin once said that a student hung herself there, or a dead body was left inside a tree. Other times, you always remember to stay tabi-tabi po, lest you accidentally step on the duende's house or nunu sa punso. You made sure to bite your finger if you pointed anywhere possibly haunted, in case you got cursed by spirits. There's a priest haunting the chapel. Perhaps this story was also related to the idea that your school was once the resting place of those who died during the war. These are the restless souls of murdered spirits who have stayed behind and remain in places that are most familiar to them. If their spirits weren't felt in the chapel as you were praying, they might be heard singing in the nearly house of mourning or hovering over the circle during reflection at a school retreat. There's a strange kid in your classroom or in your class photos. Every classroom had something extra, an extra student. That is whether it was a little boy or a little girl. That spirit would rearrange the chairs or make computers go wonky to scare the wits of you and your classmates. Then there are those doppelganger stories. That kid who showed up during roll call so that when the teacher counted 46 instead of the usual 45, you know something was up. Other stories include ghostly figures showing up in class photos, a strange fuzzy figure standing right behind of one of your unsuspecting classmates. There are scary ladies out to get you. There was always the story of a white lady waiting for you at the end of a dark hallway, or perhaps just hanging out in one of many trees in school grounds. The more dark places or trees you had in school, the more chances you'd run into her. You and your friends might have also tried to summon Bloody Mary by chanting in the front of a bathroom mirror to call on the evil spirits. Ghosts like to read and play music too. Spirits are known to lurk in the places that are always empty, which explains a lot if you didn't use the library every day. Shame on you for not using your library card. Did you hear the one about a girl who felt she was being followed by a ghost, so she started reciting the Lord's Prayer? Then when she went back to her desk, the ghost was in front of her reciting the Lord's Prayer too. And then there was the one time the auditorium or music. Then when she went back to her desk, the ghost was in front of her reciting the Lord's Prayer too. And then there was the one about the auditorium or music room, which had all instruments up for grabs. All you can do was pretend that the piano tune you were hearing was from a mobile phone, even if no one was around.